Husband left her for someone else. She was young, beautiful, a fitanjashka with gel in her lips and augmented everything. When he left, he said that she was a first-class girl, and all his friends were jealous of him, and I was just making borscht. A month later, I'm standing at the stove, boiling that borscht, and there's a knock at the door. Our family's best friend came in. Ate borscht, drank wine, and confessed that he introduced my husband to this maiden specifically because he dreamed of coming home to me after work and my delicious dinners. We've been together for a year now, and my husband is freaking out. Story 2. The train is delayed for about 20 minutes. Everyone at the stop is cold and angry. After work, I want to go home. We are waiting. No one announces when the train will arrive. Wait for information. Finally, the train arrives. All sullenly go in, sit down, waiting for departure. And then a ruddy guy comes into the carriage with a cake tied with a ribbon and shouts into the phone, "Can you imagine? Today is the most fantastic day of my life. I was running just out of inertia, in desperation. I was terribly late. And she's standing there, waiting for me. I'm coming. I'm on time for you. Hooray, right?" And we all smiled, relaxed, as if we were waiting at the bus stop on purpose so that he could get there in time with his cake. We're driving along, smiling, carrying the cake. Story 3. Hello. Here's the situation. A classmate is kind of disliking me. He tells his friends that he's afraid of me. I'm assuming he doesn't mean it. Because there's no point in being afraid of me, I'm kind. He and I don't socialize. He can grudgingly move away from where I've approached. He says he's scared. There was a case. It was hot, and he wanted to open the window. But I was sitting near the window, and he asked a friend to open the window instead because he was scared. There was a situation where we were working in pairs. He didn't refuse to work in pairs with me, but ended up sitting with me anyway. But he turned away, moved to the very edge away from me with dislike, and was telling his friends, "Help, you can count me sitting alone." Once again, I didn't do anything to him. And I don't stink if anyone thinks I did. We ended up not being able to pair up with him because he sat further away and we ended up being given other people to work with. There was an incident where he closed the door on purpose right in front of my face and held it open even though he saw me coming from behind. Why treat badly when I haven't done anything at all? I try to help everyone at all times. Story 4. When I was little, my parents often went to the countryside and left me with my older brother. He would have drunken parties with his friends every time, and that day, so that I wouldn't disturb them with my whining, he locked me in my room. I cried for a long time at first, then finally fell asleep. I woke up in the middle of the night hearing the lock on the front door open. Then I heard thumps, women's screams, and footsteps towards my room. I was very scared, especially when someone started pulling my door handle. Then they left, and I was afraid to get out from under the blanket. The next day my parents came back only in the evening, opened the door and took me to my neighbor's house, scared and crying. I remember there were a lot of policemen in the house. My brother and his girlfriend were killed then. It is still unknown who killed them and why. And he actually saved my life. I still shudder every time someone opens the door. Story 5. My husband said that I was insanely stressed out after giving birth, very difficult, and that the baby is very loud and takes all the attention. Plus, the baby was a financial black hole, and he can't take it anymore. He left me alone with a 1-year-old baby. Thankfully, the apartment was mine, and we almost amicably parted ways. Soon, a new neighbor from the floor below began to pay attention to me. He was 5 years younger than me, but how good it was with him. He helped us out, around the house with groceries, with repairs. He became insanely important, not only to me, but also to my daughter. At some point, I realized that I had time for myself and wanted to look good again, and I started to get in shape. And he only supported me even more. As a result, 1.5 years later, I was beautiful again, with a healthy baby in my arms and next to the best man in my life. The ex with whom we accidentally crossed paths in the supermarket, jaw-picking, even had the nerve to offer to come back, but I sent him away. My life has changed for the better, and he's not the reason why. Story 6. I have a friend. In her 40s, looks 27, 28, plus stylishly dressed. In general, a dream, not a woman. The other day comes in upset feelings, says, her husband is going to leave to another, 16 years of marriage, asks me to meet with a rival. Allegedly, I want to make an order. She is a designer. I am shocked, but, understandably, agree. Thought to say to this lady all that I think about it. That ruins the family. That on someone else's misfortune, happiness is not built and all in this vein. And here comes a chubby woman, not beautiful, but with such a charming smile. She charmed me for about 5 minutes. I have never met such pleasant and sincere people before. Now I'm in the middle of renovating my entire apartment, and I have no idea how to explain this to my friend. Story 7. I'm infertile. My men treated it calmly, supported it, but then I realized that they were happy about it only because they didn't need to spend money on condoms. Nobody needed an infertile woman for a relationship. Regular nights out for a year or two and goodbye. I understood this, but if I pushed away even such, I doomed myself to loneliness. And this is even worse for me. I found a man, and he came to meet me. Well, I think, hello, regular nights without condoms. But he wasn't like that. He really got into my grief, said he loved me, and offered to take a child from the orphanage. Now we have a son and a daughter. I became a mother and realized that this is the happiest burden in the world. Story 8. 2 years ago, I was dumped by a man. The suspicious thing was that a week after the breakup, he was already seen with another girl. He didn't explain the reason, the classic, "It's not about you," but I'm sure. He left me because he wanted to be with her, or even had already met her. I experienced it very hard, complicated by the fact that we worked together, I saw him every day, and to quit my job to nowhere was not possible. He got married in front of me to the same girl. I had saved up by then and was able to quit my job, almost a year after the breakup, but I never recovered. For some reason, this story just stomped on me morally. But I realized that I had to move on with my life, and I started dating someone else too. We recently got engaged. My ex saw my engagement photos on my page and wrote a congratulatory message with a lot of things. That he was happy for me, that now he no longer feels guilty for leaving me then, because I'm already fine. I'm not fine. I'm on antidepressants, and it's his fault.